Welcome to RSA Conference 2024. We're recording live from Broadcast Alley in Moscone West. This interview is sponsored by Picus. I'm your host, Mandy Logan, and joining me today is Volkan Ertürk, co-founder and CTO at Picus. Volkan, welcome.
Hi, Mandy.
It's nice, we're finally at day 4 of RSA. I'm going to imagine that you are excited, but maybe also ready to be heading home.
Exactly. It was a really busy, very packed 3 full days. Yeah, definitely. The last day we feel a bit like overwhelmed, but excited to meet with the family very soon.
Oh yes, absolutely. I imagine in the coming months there will be a lot that comes from your participation here at RSA. And for all of our viewers, first, can you tell me about Picus and what you are focusing on?
Sure. We're a security validation company. We help organizations to make their security visible and actionable.
Okay.
Which means is that like we are a pioneer in breach attack simulation, and we are a leading player in pen test automation technology. And we put all this data, making them actionable, how they perceive their security posture and take actions on that to improve their exposure management journey, I can say.
So, with that, what are you seeing as the main challenges that your customers are battling currently?
Mhm. The main challenges we see our customers are battling is understanding their real security posture. It's easy to say, easy to ask, but hard to answer the question, how secure am I? Maybe the audience will say like, well, we have a very mature security management, vulnerability management program, and we have lots of metrics. I know that. Then I'm gonna say like, pick top two of your security vendors. Take them out. Let's assume that you're taking them out. Like your favorite EDR, your favorite firewall. What's your posture look like? Same. Yeah. The reason is that uh, vulnerability management program doesn't communicate with the security control. So vulnerability metrics is not giving you the posture. On the other side, you have cloud tools, and your cloud posture is giving your cloud surface only. And you have security validation and like where we are coming from, and that report and metrics give you an understanding about effectiveness of your controls. So as a security leadership, we are looking into 3 islands of information and how she can blend that data to guide her teams to make decisions and to report this to the board. So I see juggling with these metrics is the biggest challenge for the security leaders today, to understanding the real security posture.
Well, and with that, without being able to absolutely define what the security posture is, does it make it harder for the security leadership to exactly define to the rest of the company how their spend is being successful in attenuating risk?
Yeah, definitely. That's a very serious problem. Like I've been to lots of CISO roundtables, and the problem is like they're really hard. They have really having hard time to defense their security budget. Like we are spending 3 4 million dollars, some more organizations more, some less, and the board is asking or the CIO is asking like, hey, what's the or the CFO is asking, what's the ROI? Like I'm getting this, am I getting a better security? Can you give me any assurance like I will not be breached, or the probability of getting breached is decreased, or am I getting a better discount from my insurance premiums? So this is really a big problem, and here Picus, with what we have been offering recently, is helping organizations to solve this problem.
Now that's very interesting to me. So how is it that Picus helps the not just the security teams, but also security leadership be able to definitely know that their security posture is real world actionable, but they also are able to tell the rest of the corporation, we're really doing a lot with our money.
Nice. Okay. It's a big question. Maybe I can cut it into maybe I can
Please.
talk with the security leadership.
Sure.
If you want, we can get into the security team side. Um, so for the security leadership, um, It's about recently the problem is, as we discussed, like islands of information. And Gartner and Forrester did a great job coming up with exposure management and proactive security concepts. So it's providing like an end-to-end journey for the organizations. Hey, this is not only about assessment, but it's about scoping, assessment, validation, prioritization, and mobilization. So they're really building a huge journey there. And the idea is running that journey now. I can see the organization metrics, how things are really improving, and if there's any vulnerability, what's the impact on that overall in my organization. If there's like a configuration drift happening, or there is a misconfiguration happening in my environment, what's the impact on that? So they can really understand and make decisions, and they can have more meaningful conversations with their teams. So I guess that's the offer we are doing, and maybe it's very high level. Maybe I can give some a taste of what we are doing, where we are blending threats, vulnerabilities, and security controls together. There are like three
Okay.
different islands of information. Like we are really doing we know inside out about the security controls because we are the pioneer in BAS. We have pentest automation technology. We did cloud posture, cloud simulations, and recently we come up with EDR SIM assessments. So we understand and put the context about the control effectiveness. On top of that, we work with the CTI providers and the open source CTIs to pull the threat context in. And lastly, on the vulnerability side, like vulnerability assessment market is very mature and they are doing great. So we team up with the vulnerability management players, so pull that data in, and our secret sauce is like putting everything on a knowledge graph and coming up with the interfaces like what is the risk dashboard look like for the CISOs. They can really customize, they can interact with that. What is the exposure prioritization look like and the scoring look like? Exposure paths, attack paths look like, and we recently released the Numi AI. Maybe you read that about that, which is the AI analyst that users can interact and ask actions to be taken into action,
Right.
commands to be taken into action to the Numi AI. So these are the interfaces we provide to security leadership so that they can really be on top of their security program.
So, with the complete security validation platform and the even the advancements you just mentioned, how is it actually helping the security teams who are already overwhelmed?
Okay. Um, Security teams, there are multiple security teams in the organization. Like we are adding value to organizations with a couple of folks or even to 50, 100 people in their security
Right.
organizations. I can maybe touch a couple of those teams. For example, for the SecOps teams, we help them validate their work, which means that they will 100% understand the configuration drifts and be proactive taking action on that. So we introduce peace of mind to their work and plus it's smooth operations. And this is something really important. Hard to do manually. That's what we automate. So what we are saying is, we know what the threats relevant to your organizations, and we have a huge threat library based on 25,000 TTPs. And with one click, they can initiate simulations and validate their security controls, and they can schedule that to run daily, weekly, so that they can understand how their posture is changing over time. And the configuration drift is something really real. So I can give a story about that.
Yes.
Um, so it's like a multinational banking organization, and they have remote offices. So the topic was like they want to deploy a policy and a new software for their perimeter security devices, like their firewalls. So they plan it. It runs generally Friday nights or Saturday nights. So they plan it. They're having their coffee. They deploy the configurations, and they do the checks, and everything is okay. So they were having their coffee, talking for the match and what's coming for the next day, and then they get an email from Picus, and it said like, "Hey, you have a security posture problem," and they look into that. Okay, we like some a couple of offices security posture went down. Then they figured out that actually they have a configuration problem, which one rule is superseding the other rule. So they really bypass a couple of their controls, like the sandbox, the web
Oh
gateway
man.
filtering,
Okay.
all that
Right.
stuff. So if they were really going out home, maybe it will take a week or so to identify that
To
one.
have
But
ever- right.
Picus really proactively helped them without doing anything because it's all scheduled, all automated. We have that one. So that's one thing, and we can do help for the red teamers as we automate the pen test automation. They can really focus on the more art part, not the operational part. We can automate the internal pen testing, which is like we have no exclusion required, no hardware to be deployed solution. You double click a binary, our implants start enumerating the network and auto exploiting the vulnerabilities and replicating itself to achieve the objective, which can be like being a domain admin or achieving a ransomware objective. So these are like how we help the red teamers and how we help the SecOps teams. To cut it short, maybe because of the timing, I can give an example, another view about the vulnerability management team.
Okay.
That is where I can go short. With the vulnerability management teams, like they are looking into multiple lists. They have vulnerability scanners, they have breach attack simulation tools, they have external ASM tools, they have internal ASM tools. Like all the findings are getting together, and as they're running as lists, so their operations look like every week they're, let's say, taking top 20 highest severity findings from each list, and they're trying to patch them, they're trying to harden their environment. So that makes it like from 4 lists, 80 items. But the Picus way is we get all that findings together and we build a unified risk, and we reprioritize. We use the security validation findings to cut the noise, the irrelevant findings on that.
Good.
So they can focus on a shorter list, and they don't have to patch 80 stuff, but they can patch like 10, 20. So that's the value. What they're saying is like, do less, get more benefits, output from your operations in the vulnerability management or exposure management journey. Does it make sense?
It makes complete sense, and it also is, to me, very exciting because I think about the security teams. When there is something that is viable, that it helps with prioritization, that is a huge sense of relief, in my view. I would like to mention real quick, though, the 2024 Red Report that Picus brought out. I recommend all look into it and read it because it is pretty fascinating. I know we don't have a lot of time, but would you speak very quickly about the rise of the hunter-killer malware, is how you termed it in the report. And you also drew a comparison to stealth submarines. Will you mention that real quickly?
Yeah, every year, like adversaries are really stepping up, finding new TTPs, finding new evasion techniques to achieve their objectives. And like this year, they are looking into, as the security controls are getting stronger, they are looking for ways to bypass those security controls so they can achieve their objectives faster. Yeah, in a nutshell, I can say that like what we are doing in terms of our research, because we have 40 security engineers looking into what's the threat landscape is changing and how the security controls are responding into that. So we put all the research into Red Report and sharing with the community. Yeah, 100% what you said is like this year's theme is how the bad guys are bypassing our security controls and achieving their objectives. So that's where we highlighted there.
That's awesome. So with Picus, what's on the horizon? What are you focused on for the near future?
Exposure management thing is, we believe it's a big thing. What Gartner and Forrester coined that, and we believe that it's really changing how the organizations are managing their vulnerabilities and their findings in their environment. So it's not like a one vendor journey. It's like a more collaborative approach.
Okay.
So currently, as like it's mentioned, like everyone, it's a program. It's not an automation approach, but I guess organizations are looking into what's the tool I need to buy to make this happen, and the vendors is like, I'm the CTEM tool who's gonna make it happen. So I guess as an industry, we need to learn that we need to collaborate more to make that journey end-to-end possible, from scoping, assessment, prioritization, validation, and make it actionable. And I guess we are also trying to communicate more with the vendors how we can collaborate, because we are an open platform.
Okay.
We consume data and we share our data. So that is the direction. In the first 3 days, I'm talking to lots of vendors,
Yeah.
how we can share our data and how we can consume their data to help our customers to be stronger. And the second thing is like AI, right? AI analysts
True.
are very common. Every vendor has an AI analyst. So I guess we see more autonomous SOC moving forward. Like we are going to rely more AI analysts on our security operations centers and auto responses, and it becomes like AI can make mistakes. You know all the limitations there. So we need to have better validation, which means that we believe that security validations will become like a core topic to be educate the AI better to be sure that AI is doing the right things. So it will be like not nice to have, but it will getting into more central and must to have topic in the coming conversations.
Well, that sounds very comforting and helpful, especially because with so many AI and machine learning models that are used, you really don't have a way to view into it and see what the exact security was on that other side.
Exactly.
Volkan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So from Moscone West here at at RSA Conference, please go to securityweekly.com/Picus RSAC. Also, please look for all of our conference materials at securityweekly.com/RSAC.